Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a fun day Friday. Friday, fun day. But today I'm going to talk to you about something, of course, it's a different video, so it's something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about 10 masterpiece and regular Transformers discussions that are irrelevant. Irrelevant Transformer discussions. This is stuff that we've had in the past, and for whatever reason, really don't need to be rehabbed again. But here's the thing. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, and my top 3 in here probably need to be rediscussed at some point, but not right now. But you can also look at this as the greatest hits of discussions at the same time. We'll look into all of these. Hopefully we have a little bit of fun with it, a little bit of looking back over years and years and years of making these discussion videos. But let's get into taking a look at this. Coming up. All right, starting out with number 10 is going to be the Seekers. I was Seekered out. But I really don't think we need more Seekers. That was one of the discussions I've had in the past. I was Seekered out. I didn't want more Seekers. I knew more were coming. The fact I knew more were coming, I sold them all off. Now, this is where I even started doing discussions. I started doing discussions years ago because I would want to be part of the conversation, but I would have ideas that I'd like podcasters to discuss, and a lot of times you'd even write into them and send messages. Nowadays, live stream, you just kind of type it in the live stream. But I would send this in, and they would read it, laugh, and move on. I'm like, but this is something that's pertinent that we should talk about. And so, if you have those ideas, and I try to embrace it, I'm using a couple of viewer ideas in this upcoming week or two, and if you feel like you're not getting that kind of response, then make your own videos also. I encourage anybody to, but at the same time, I love you guys feeding me some great ideas. That's where I get a lot of my ideas. But Seekered out, I don't think we need more Seekers. I will say this about this topic. I will say that we have Deformation Space, which I think is the best, but I wish it had a better paint job. We have the Takara and the Takara KOs. But when it comes to the cone heads, we still need cone heads that fit in the realm of not just tall enough, but the proper aesthetic to match up to Deformation Space. So regular first 3 Seekers, we don't need more of them. We do need cone heads that are bigger, but I'm satisfied with what I got with Make Toys and with the KOs that made the MP52 into cone heads. But a lot of Deformation Space collectors out there want Deformation Space cone heads, and I can't argue with that. My next, number 9, my next discussion I think is irrelevant is Fans Toys better than Takara? Now, a couple of things here. It's going back so far, I didn't even make my own screenshots. This was auto-generated back in the day. I learned how to make screenshots of stuff since then, and this is way back in the day. But since Takara's decided to tap out of the Masterpiece market and is basically maybe giving us 1 or 2, we're getting a Rat Trap, we're getting a few things, but more or less we're just getting reissues of old stuff, recolors, and we're getting more or less Missing Link plus MPG being almost a mainline, sort of like Missing Link in a way. I just view what they're doing with MPG as being Missing Link in a way as it is vintage scaled, maybe slightly bigger, definitely not Masterpiece, but you could mix it and match it with vintage toys and vintage displays. And here's Fans Toys versus X Transbots. This is another one kind of in the same realm. Fans Toys, is it better than X Transbots? The rivalry, the biggest third-party rivalry, still is, in my opinion, the biggest third-party rivalry. But it's sort of like Fans Toys like picking on other people like DX9. And who are they picking on next? Okay. Now, that's probably still a conversation to be had. Who's Fans Toys picking on next? I never made a lot of KO videos, but I would have thought I would have had better videos to grab than this one here. But my KO Megatron. The KO debate. I really kind of think the KO debate is sort of over. Now, one of the things that I went down, one of the paths I went down with KOs was, do they help or hurt the Masterpiece market? But also, there was a big, giant shift in knockoffs back in the day. Probably a couple of years ago, and I have to say that things changed. I don't think it's exactly the same as it used to be with knockoffs. I discussed a lot of stuff, how they switched to brown box specials. We see the brown box special and knockoffs all the time today. You never saw that prior to my making the end of KO video. You never saw brown box specials and knockoffs. You'd see them in stuff that was bootleg. So knockoffs are an exact copy of what another company did, maybe some upgrades to it. Bootlegs are, well, actually, I mean, you can really put Fans Toys in that pocket. Fans Toys is effectively a bootleg, just high-end bootleg. But with all that, KO's changed. The landscape of KO releases going forward, it's changed. I made all those videos. And I really feel like knockoffs are way more acceptable. The other thing is, here's a point I've never made on this topic, because I'm not going to be talking about it a lot. Maybe I will, but not a lot. Is that not every collector needs to have an investment portfolio of $1.5 million to collect Masterpiece. Because KOs exist. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. About 12 people dropped the mic at Titanium Hanger yesterday because of my video and honesty and truth and all that, whatever. Okay, so fantastic model, FMO2 Marge Ultra Magnus, parts forming. You know, here's the thing about the topic of parts forming. A lot of people were against parts forming, but I don't think it's an issue anymore. So many things, so many releases have come out in the last 5 years that utilize parts forming and show that that is the superior way to go, starting from combiners and going to this Marge. Now, I got 2-in-1 because I spent $36 on some 3D printed guts, and I'm happy with my Fans Toys Marge and my Fans Toys White Optimus Prime that can stand side by side for one price. By the way, Show Z's got this on sale for $229.99 if you don't have it yet, and shipping's $2.10, and TH is all you need to enter in the code for Titanium Hanger. So I hate to do this to MMC because I like MMC as a company. I like their products. Some of their stuff is some of the most fun to mess with. Kind of like a Karen at a restaurant. I hate to ask you, but I need to speak with your manager. All right, so looking at this, on the left is MMC, on the right is X-Transbots, and I don't have a really modern picture. Oddly enough, I didn't save a modern enough picture. But even with this, you can see it's much cleaner in the midsection, in the waist, and a lot of stuff. And what I'm seeing, and what I'm understanding, and what people kind of tell me about the MMC stuff is that it looks way better with an upgrade kit on it. So if you're all in one on your MMC, and you put an upgrade kit on it, guess what? That's parts forming. So henceforth, and for art thou, parts forming, even on MMC, is happening. The Bruticus had an upgrade kit, which it looks much better with the upgrade kit. And I am not bashing MMC at all. But Like Toys makes upgrade kits for them now, I think, that make them look superior. Gotta say. At the end of the day, it's parts forming either way to make it superior. I figure this is a good video that somewhat touches on this topic, but it's not exactly the topic, is the two-tune. It seems like we are getting away from two-tune, as in there's enough options for people these days that if you want the hyper cartoon, you can get that. You want something that's not super cartoon, it's more real world, you can get that also. So you can get all this stuff. It all works out. We can all be happy. So the two-tune conversation seems to be a thing of the past, seems to be something that's over for the most part. But will it come back? Or will it go another direction? I predict, hold on a second, I've got a crystal ball. The future problems and irritations and upset people are going to say too much toy, too much vintage toy style, too toy, too youth. I don't find that as a problem, though. The next discussion, I think, is kind of expired. It's kind of an old topic. You notice I'm pulling up old screenshots of old videos because I'm not wanting to remake these videos because I think they've been covered, but I don't think they're an issue anymore. And this is no Fembots. So 5 years ago, there were few and far between on the Fembots, and we were still looking forward to a couple, and now we have a lot. And almost too many, in a way, because of the same characters over and over. But at the same time, probably could use some of the recolors and stuff. But the molds exist, so it's just only time till the recolors come out. The KOs of these Fembots are even floating around out there. So there's a lot. In fact, I actually like the KO of Takara's. That's my favorite RC. The KO of the Takara one is my favorite. I don't know. Oh yeah, they fixed the granny chest. The granny chest is fully developed on the KO version of Takara's RC figure. And then that one is my favorite. Is there a perfect RC? Well, not yet, but I think we need a non-transforming masterpiece scale RC to be perfect, to have a perfect RC. But then there'll be someone complaining about that with non-transforming bots. And I gotta say, the non-transforming bot discussion is gonna keep going on for a while. It's taking over, but it's not fully taking over because of the word transformer or converter. Converts? Convert her? Okay, gone too far. The next discussion that is a moot point, it's dead in the water. I think that's actually going to be my screenshot, or what you guys love to call clickbait. Too obscure. And I'm going to say that all of the people said that every single thing in this picture is too obscure. Now that's talking extremes. Most collectors said they wouldn't be in on any of this stuff here. It looks cool. It's interesting. Some collectors are like, who? What? Yeah. Misfired what? Punch counter punch what? And I am ecstatic that X-Transbots made all these. And it proves, because these haven't just, for the most part, sold out. They've been reissued in different colors, reissued in whatever different ways. The reissues only run 500, by the way. So if there's a recolor of one of these into something, for whatever reason, it's just a recolor, X-Transbots only makes 500. But if it's the standard release and the toy version, they make whatever there is, 4,000, 5,000. I don't know how many that is, but I have to say, the too obscure discussion is over. Nothing's too obscure. And why is that? That's because the collector market for Masterpiece Transformers has matured. And not matured as in aged. Well, I guess we have all gotten older. But it's matured to the point, the fact that Season 1, Season 2, it's all I collect. One Season 3 figure, and something from the movie, and... Well, the thing is, once you've got it all, and it's like, okay, I really don't want an 8th Jazz. I want to get something new, like a Punch Counter Punch. And so people dip their toe into this because it's new and it's different, and you're not just lining up an 8th Jazz on your shelf, right? You're not just lining up a 12th Optimus Prime. You're getting something completely different and saying it can be fun to explore? The obscure? So, too obscure is no longer a topic that really needs to be discussed because it doesn't really exist. I mean, Micromasters, we got some Pretenders, but if they do Pretenders right, they'd be awesome too. So that was number 4. Okay, so now we're down to the last 3 that I say that could probably be redone or rediscussed in a different way, shape, or form. But I think they're still kind of dead. So there's the whole discussion of third-party infringement. Takara versus third-party. Takara versus X-Transbots, Fan Toys, and all of them out there. And that's a thing. That is definitely a thing to consider. But now that they've sort of officially tapped out of the Masterpiece realm that they created, that they started, and they will give you an occasional one here, one there. Next 5 years you get 4 true Masterpiece figures. The rest are just recolors of what they've already made. And They have given up. The white flag is being waved. Now they're doing Missing Link, and they're doing stuff that fits in with Missing Link. Basically, with that Optimus Prime and all that kind of stuff. Just waving the white flag because third party is that good. Is how it feels right here. Also, profitability. You make less part count, even though you're doing the Missing Link with upgraded articulation. Still is less part count, less engineering than what goes into a masterpiece. But third party itself, is it IP infringement? Well, yeah, of course it's IP infringement, but we accept it in the community. Also, there's really nothing Takara or Hasbro can truly do. They can give the illusion that they're doing something, but it's not really going to do much in the current climate. I mean, Transformer companies that are doing third-party stuff are actually competing directly with Hasbro and Mainline in a way, and nothing's happening to them at all. We thought something could have been happening. They figured out ways around it to stay and play. And of course, if Hasbro could shut this down, they would shut this down. This is probably better than what they're making. At the same time, competing products competing in the market during the same year. Don't those Super 7 figures look really good in a third-party AWE Striker? Okay, so much fun. Can be had. Talk about enabling. Transformer collectors are a hop, skip, and a jump away from being G.I. Joe collectors. Prove me wrong. I'm going to sit there with a table and a sign and say prove me wrong. But all right, number 2, scale. Now, the discussion could come back up about scale, but I think that it's just a little too late, as I said, too mature in the cycle of collecting to get Autobot Carbots about 20% taller. Because if anybody was going to do it, it would have been Fans Toys. And they've done Cave. They bent the knee to Takara. And they went with half the size of Prime to be a Carbot scale. I would have thought they would have gone bigger. X-Transbots, in a way, some of their stuff's a little taller, but at the same time, they're making a lot of stuff that was post Season 1 and 2. But, yeah, scale, I mean, it's all over the place in the cartoon. It's all over the place, definitely all over the place in the vintage toy market, because they were just hodgepodging a bunch of unrelated things together and calling them one cohesive cartoon toy line. That's what happened. So, scale out the window, but not out the window. We still can discuss the 18-inch, 15-inch, 21-inch combiners. How big should Citybots be? But at the end of the day, I think people have accepted where the scale is now. We now know nothing is too big to be made. No Citybot. Nothing is just outside the realms of reality for making stuff too big, I guess. I mean, that's what she said. Yes, I'm still coming to grips with 12-inch isn't a thing, and now I look back and I'm thankful they adjusted to 9-inch, because where on earth would I be putting all these if they were in the 12-inch scale? Okay, I admit, finally, after 7 years, I was wrong. Just don't tell my wife. The last point is articulation. I feel like we've reached a level of minimum articulation. And you could go back in time and you could say, well, Fans Toys Hot Rod, that one needs better articulation. We need better articulation in an Astro Train. And I mean, we could all do that. Seekers need more articulation and a waist swivel and ab crunch and all that stuff. And, you know, here's the thing. We are seeing advances in the Legends. Now, the advances in the Legends could spill over into advances in the Masterpiece. So when I start seeing that kind of stuff, this is probably the #1 dead topic that could come back up, is articulation. And that's odd, because I'm not an articulation buff. I don't really put my figures in highly dynamic poses. Mine, like some people said, and they like to laugh a lot, ha ha ha, that a lot of people's collections, including mine, look like they're standing in line for a bus. And that's how I want mine. Although some of them are standing in line for a bus holding guns and swords. But anyway, articulation will be a topic that comes back up in the future. But currently right now, with the minimum expectations more or less being met on all masterpiece releases, I think we're there. I think we're past it. I think we, as society, have moved past bad articulation on a masterpiece figure. What do you think? So at minimum, I had a lot of fun making this video. Maybe you didn't have as much fun watching it, but these old discussions that are sort of dead in the water, I actually have a list somewhere of 31 discussions. I'll probably cross 7 off that I've done. So 23 maybe, something like that, 24. That never saw the light of day. If I ever find that, I'll make another video discussing that, because I think that would be more fun than this. But these used to be the biggest hot topics back in the day. Nowadays, I think we've accepted most of what's in here. Going forward, there's a lot more to talk about. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which of these do you think are no longer dead? They need to come back and be revived. We need to discuss this. And how many of you agree with most of my selections on dead conversations in Masterpiece Transformers Realm or regular Transformers Realm? Like and subscribe. Subscribers do matter to me, and I will be paying back my subscribers with videos about them and their collections. Like, subscribe. Takara out.